The Transform Your Mind radio hour is a journey through the mind, offering fresh approaches to old problems that plague the African American woman and youth. Host Myrna Young, life coach, and Arifa Youssef, social worker, discuss topics such as relationships, depression, the single life, how to supercharge your marriage, poverty mindset, and more. Tune in every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and transform your mind to transform your life.
Welcome to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, life coach Myrna Young, and in the guest chair today is inspirational speaker and author Sabrina Johnson. Welcome, Sabrina.
Hi, Myrna. How are you?
All right, I am doing great. All right, and our topic today is how to overcome a defeated mindset. But before we go into me bringing on Sabrina for us to talk about that, I wanted to give you a little bit of an intro into our topic. Our show is all about transforming the mind and mindset. So this is a perfect topic in my space. So mindsets are beliefs about yourself and about your basic qualities. Think about your intelligence, your talents, your personality. Are these qualities or simply fixed traits carved in stone, or can you cultivate and grow these traits? So I hope you answered yes to that question, because you can. Your intelligence is not a fixed quantity which cannot be increased. With practice, training, and above all method, we can increase our attention, our memory, our judgment, and become more intelligent than we were before. In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic qualities, like their intelligence or talent, are simply fixed traits and can never be improved. On the other hand, in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, which is true. The fixed mindset creates an internal dialogue that is focused on judging. For instance, I am such a loser. I'm the giver in this relationship, and I get nothing in return. I'm a no-good husband. My partner is selfish and only thinks about himself. So these are some of the internal dialogue when you're in a fixed mindset. You're talking to yourself, you're judging everybody, you're thinking that, either you're a loser or they're a loser. But when you have a growth mindset, you are sensitive to positive and negative information, and you're attuned to its implications for learning and growing. People with a growth mindset ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? How can I help my partner do better instead of judging? So that was my intro on mindsets and what we're going to be discussing today. Sabrina and I are going to discuss a specific form of the fixed mindset, and that is the defeated mindset. Not only are you fixed, but you have no hope, and you've been beat down, and you are defeated. So we're going to try to elevate you today and let you know that there's no such thing as defeat. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for the victory. So let me share some information on my guest today, Sabrina Johnson. Sabrina is an inspirational speaker, marketing consultant, and author. She holds a master's degree in marketing, and she's an expert on the 4 pillars of coaching, and she uses this outline in her inspirational speeches, which are focused on purpose and overcoming a defeated mindset, which is what we're going to talk about today. All right, so Sabrina, I am happy to have you on the show. It matches right into, like I said, the mind and what we concentrate on here on transforming the mind. So give our audience some information on your backstory and how you came to be an expert on mindsets.
Yes, Myrna, and I just want to say I'm very happy to be on the show today to discuss this subject matter, which I think is of very much importance, especially in today's society. For myself personally, I have always been someone who spent years trying to move my life forward. I always say that I am a dreamer, and but the problem was, I made decisions and choices in my life that counteracted that attempt. So I said I wanted to move forward, but everything that I did, caused me to move backwards. And to the point where I had to kind of really stop and do an honest self-assessment and really seek God for direction on, what am I doing? Why am I seemingly repeating the same cycles in my life? It was at that point that I began to really recognize certain defeated mindsets or negative truths about myself that I held, about myself subconsciously that was preventing me from moving forward. And for instance, I'll give you an example. I am very career-driven. So I desired to move up the career ladder. I have a master's degree in marketing. But whenever I went to apply for, director level or VP level positions, although I'm online applying for the position, but in my mind I'm getting intimidated, just by reading the job description and wondering, do I have what it takes? So what would happen in the past was I would eventually talk myself out of applying for that position. No, I don't want that because I don't want to be bogged down with the responsibility.
Wow.
So I would apply for a lesser role. I would get the lesser role, but then once I get to the, get in the position, the next couple of months I'm miserable. I'm complaining. The job is boring.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Or because the employer was able to see in me what I couldn't see in myself, that I was a leader, they would give me more responsibility. And then I would complain about being overworked and underpaid, It's like,
oh, my goodness. What a cycle.
Exactly. I'm doing the job of a senior manager, but yet I'm getting paid, as a specialist. And it was because they saw that in me. I knew I deserved to be on that level, but it was that defeated mindset where on the inside I felt that I wasn't worthy. I didn't speak it, but I thought it. It's a mindset, and it was causing me to get all off track because I would leave those jobs, because it wasn't what I wanted, and then continue to cycle all over again at another company. And so I really had to say, okay, God, I need help.
Okay. Well, let me jump in right here. It would not be a great idea for me to just skip over this huge opportunity to ask you, since you've done a whole bunch of self-assessment, why did you have a defeated mindset? Why did you not have confidence in your abilities?
That is a great question, Myrna. And that was something I had to really pinpoint. I was listening to a video, and the speaker was talking about how to develop confidence at work, because I was really trying, to get there. And one thing he said was, usually when you lack confidence, it was, somewhere along the line in your life, someone sowed that seed into your mind. Someone sowed that seed that you were not good enough, that you were not worthy enough, and you took the bait. So then I had to really, once again, do some reflection, back on past relationships and past hurts, and start to really connect the dots. Oh, he rejected me. Oh, she, it was really past hurts from past relationships where maybe an ex left me for someone else. Things like that that made me feel unworthy, and it trickled over into other areas of my life.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That is very true. And the crazy thing about it, I don't want to digress too far, but the crazy thing about it is that a lot of people lack self-confidence by something someone said to them in grade school. and they carry it for the rest of their lives. And it's so it's good to, a lot of people live unconsciously, but you said that you did a lot of self-reflection, so that's why I asked you that question. So you obviously know. All right, so you recognize that your defeated mindset was holding you back as far as career-wise and as far as, in the corporate ladder. So keep going with your story. So how did you solve that?
Yeah, so it really took for me to rely on my faith, really seek God for guidance. Outside of that, I read a lot of self-help, books and articles on how to overcome a defeated mindset, how to build your confidence, and how to speak with confidence. But a lot of it, the core of it, really had to go back to the words that I was speaking to myself. So when I did finally go find myself looking for another job, I said, are you going to repeat this cycle, or are you finally going to, push past this thought? So as you're applying for the job and you're starting to get intimidated by the job description, remind yourself, of what you have done, in the past at other companies. This is nothing, and you're going to not take this role, take a different role, get in the company, and then do this role. So you might as well apply for this role. So
exactly, and get paid for it, right? Yes.
Exactly. So it really took for me to speak back to myself, that tough love to myself, but not in a self-degrading way, but really talking myself up. Sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader, because if no one's cheering for you, you have to cheer for yourself. And that's one thing that we don't do enough, is cheer for ourselves.
Right, yes, celebrate and cheer for yourself. Yes, so awesome. All right, so that's a good story regarding, your career and your defeated mindset. So I know we skirted around it, but if we wanted to have a definition, what would you say is your definition of a defeated mindset?
A defeated mindset is when you can't see beyond your opinion of yourself. When you can't see beyond,
it's a good one.
Yes, your own negative perception of yourself. Defeated mindsets can come in all shapes, forms, or fashion, but there's always an underlying root cause of it. For me, it was, past relationships that caused me to have low self-confidence and low self-esteem. Sometimes defeated mindsets are stemmed from fears, things that we fear. You can have a fear of success, and that's a defeated mindset, not feeling worthy of what you're about to walk into. And I dealt with that on another level as well. Defeated mindsets can come from your environment. If you are surrounded by people who don't dream the way you dream and don't believe that, someone of your background and culture can get up from a low place, then if you don't, if you don't push yourself beyond that crowd, then you're going to settle in that defeated mindset as well.
That's very common in our community. Yep.
Exactly, it is. Just point in case, I remember I was going through a rough spot because, once again, I took a position that was lower than what, the pay was too low for me to live off of. So I was having a very hard financial time, and I was speaking to a really good friend of mine, and she didn't mean any harm, but she asked me what was I going to do about my apartment, because I have always, lived in very nice areas, so the rent, was kind of pricey. And she goes, so what are you going to do when your lease is up? Are you going to move, in a low-income house, low-income apartment?
Wow. That is definitely the definition of a defeated mindset. The only place you can go is down, never up. Yep. Okay.
And I told her, I said, I'm not going to accept this as my reality. What I am going to do is look for a job that can pay me enough to support my lifestyle.
Right. Exactly. Especially when you have a master's degree. That's for somebody that has no high school education or something. You don't have a master's degree and can't pay your rent. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. But I settled for that role, and once again, it's environment. It's who you have speaking into your ear. I have this internal drive within me that kind of refuses to settle for less. So even though I settle for less, I'm not happy there. I have to get back up.
That's good.
That ties into purpose. That ties into your purpose. But everyone doesn't have that internal drive inside of them. So it's really good to surround yourself with others, who can really encourage you until you get to the point where you can fully encourage yourself.
Right. Okay. So how do you do that? How do you, Sabrina and I have been friends for a while. I know her story. And I know that she is definitely a dreamer and, went through a lot of personal challenges, but she pushed through and elevated herself. So, but how did you fall into the mindset of a dreamer? Was it your environment, or is it just something that's built into you, or was it your fate? Because God does want us to be prosperous, and we can believe in our inheritance, and that's one way to do it. That's the way I've always, when I dream that, God doesn't want us to be poor. God has given us an inheritance, and He wants us to be wealthy and not just surviving, but living in abundance. That's the way I do it. But how did you get into your mindset of always pushing forward? Is it people you hung around? It's your parents? Did you form a group? I mean, did you go into a kind of a group? What was your deal?
To be honest, Myrna, nothing in my background would insinuate dream big. But this was something that was ingrained into me, and I really truly know, not believe, but know that it's part of my purpose, what I was taught to do, because now I speak purpose and faith and overcoming defeat into the lives of people. So I think it was just part of my calling in life, because I remember as far back as being
you're
a kid,
hardwired. That's good.
Exactly.
All right. Mm-hmm.
I remember as far back as being a kid looking at planes in the sky and just wishing that I was on one. Always wanting to be in a different.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that before. Right. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay.
I always wanted to be someplace else, not someplace else, but just at a higher level. So although that was ingrained in me, then it go my life, people, circumstances kind of fought against that, but it was always ingrained in me. So no matter how far down I go, when I fell, when I, stumbled, when I made poor life choices, my story about having kids at a young age and being suicidal, it was always that point where I was sitting there making a decision. Are you going to live or are you going to die? Well, I don't want to die, God. I just want to live this life, then get up and live. It was always that point where I had to make a decision with little encouragement from the people around me, Wow. And it's not that they told me, they didn't beat me down. They just didn't
encourage you. Right.
Yeah, they didn't offer him to pick me up either. So I had to encourage myself. It really was something that was ingrained in me from a young age.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But I grew up myself in the third world country where everybody was poor. My parents were poor, my grandparents were poor. You know what I mean? And somehow I always had this goal to be better and to do well and to get higher education and all that. And as I was sitting a moment ago doing my meditation, as I do before I come on the show, because I meditate to reach the people that I want to reach, and the people that I want to reach is that somebody, in a third world country that is living in lack, and maybe some word that we see on the show gives them that little spark. And as I was doing that and meditating and reflecting on that, I asked myself, where did I get that spark from? The same question I asked you. And I traced it back to a teacher. I mean, I had a teacher. Yeah, I had a teacher in high school that, whatever she did, she instilled in me to dream and to go higher, and whatever it was that she did, that I received it. And, so that's awesome. All right, so good, go ahead.
Just to tie into that, I will say that there have been people along the way who kind of fueled my flames. And there was one employer in particular where I was leaving the role because, once again, I felt like I was being overworked and underpaid and underlooked. And as I was leaving, she called me into her office, the director, and she just looked at me and she said, "You are a rising star, so don't fizzle." So don't.
That's beautiful.
And
yeah.
Those words have stayed with me. I mean, so
yes.
there's some people along the way, definitely, that they either sees you for the good or the bad, right? They can bring negative mindsets or positive ones. So
right. Yes. So that's good. Awesome. Well, all right, we're off to a rocking start. I love our conversation. I love where we're heading. We're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to look at how God guides you to your purpose and how you can understand what he wants you to do. So stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to get into that topic. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Hey, all you future recording artists of the world. Do you need a music video produced for your completed song, but just don't have the high price budget they charge to get it produced? Well, this is your lucky day. World Video Marketers is offering you the opportunity of a lifetime. We will produce you a high-quality music video of your song for the amazing one-time price of only $595 complete. You heard correct. Just $595, saving you thousands. All you need to do is send us your track and theme, and we will have your music video completed within 5 business days. This is a limited time offer, only good till the end of September. Let World Video Marketers make your dreams a reality. For more info on how to get started, call us at 888-633-9313. Let's get your music video ready for the world to see and the exposure you deserve. Remember, the end of September is the cutoff date. Call us now, 888-633-9313. Again, that's 888-633-9313. Let's rock.
Singer-songwriter Mary Opara has released a sensational brand new gospel Christian song titled You've Got My Back. The song reminds us of the love of the Lord in our lives and how our Heavenly Father always has our back. The video of the song includes awesome praise and worship as God takes you on a roller coaster of praise and belief in the power of Yahweh, who truly has our back. Please check out the full video on YouTube by searching for Mary Opara. That is Opara.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, Coach Myrna Young, and today in the guest chair is Sabrina Johnson. Sabrina is an international speaker and author, and we are talking today on the topic, how to overcome a defeated mindset. In her first segment, Sabrina gave us a little bit of her background on how she had a defeated mindset and how she defeated her mindset and elevated herself, never stayed down. And, give us some examples of what a defeated mindset looks like. So now we're going to transition into the second part of our topic, and that is understanding God's purpose in your lives, which is one of the other topics that Sabrina talks about. So, I understand, Sabrina, that your niche market are those who are believers in Jesus but are not living a life of victory. Usually they have lost their way as relates to their purpose and settled for less along the way, or are confused on how to make their dream come to pass. So since this is your specialty, now how do you help the people in this group? I understand that you have a webinar that you specifically focus on this, and you go through 8 steps. So maybe you can give us a couple of steps today and just explain how you guide people to understanding God's purpose in their lives.
Yeah, so understanding your purpose, which is no easy feat, comes along with understanding who you are and understanding who God is, understanding the mindset of God. A lot of things that we pursue in this life is more our preference, what we prefer for our lives, which we prefer, all good things, of course, in the easy road. But God's plan and his purpose for our lives often looks, very different from what we have in mind. It includes a lot of pit stops and turns along the way. It requires humbling ourselves and submitting to him and seeking him for direction. And so I say my workshops, it's a webinar, but also the webinar is more for to explain the workshops that I host. My workshops are more for Christians because I truly don't believe that you have a true purpose outside of your God-given purpose. Now, we do have passions and things that we pursue for ourselves. Like, for instance, my passion is marketing. I have always wanted to, create commercials, and I'm very creative. I'm a creative thinker, and I that's what I do, as my quote-unquote day job. I'm a marketing consultant. But then I have my purpose, which is inspirational speaking, which is I sell inspirational products and speaking to Christians about overcoming defeat and purpose. And that's something that I did not choose for myself. It was when after I had taken hold of everything my heart desired, and I still felt empty on the inside, and felt like I was longing and missing something out of my life, it was then that God, stepped in and said, okay, now that you have pursued all the things your heart desire, and now you see that your heart still desires more, let me show you what the purpose I created you to serve. Yes, I want you to have your heart desires, but I created you. I put you on this earth for a particular purpose. And when you're not operating in it, your life is all out of alignment, and you seek fulfillment from so many other sources instead of the main source. So that's what the heart of the workshops are about: discovering your purpose, your God-given purpose, and pursuing it properly. And the first step of the workshop that we spend a lot of time on is pulling back the curtains and exposing our true selves, taking off that mask, the titles that we put on, the things that we had to transform into in order to live the lives that we lead, taking all that off, and getting back to the core of who we are. And that's a tough one. It requires being honest with yourself about yourself. It requires exposing your flaws, because not all flaws are bad. Some flaws are given by God to be used for his glory. I always used to say that I'm not a speaker, I'm a writer. I'm not good with the spoken word. My words don't come out right. But until I started to speak to people, and they used to say, man, you gave me goosebumps. You should be a speaker. And I'm like, no, I'm not a speaker. I'm a writer. And God was like, no, well, I'm going to use that flaw, your perceived flaw, because it's usually your perception of yourself is off, your perceived flaw, and I'm going to use it for my glory. And so when you're operating in it fully, you'll recognize that it was me. It was through me that you're able to do this, because in your own might you couldn't do it, So that's the difference between purpose and passion. Your purpose usually does require you to seek God for direction, to humble yourself, to go into those areas of your life that you kind of covered up from the world. And God wants to expose it and show you why, why I built you this way. I used to think something was wrong with the fact that I had so much drive in me. I'm like, I'm never content. Like, I can't never get to a place of contentment. What's wrong with me? And God says, you're not there yet, because you're not there yet. You're pursuing everything but me, So I kind of jumped around there. But, yeah, the workshops are pretty in-depth. They cover a lot. And they are for people, Christians who are ready, to get up from that low place, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to pursue your purpose. But, man, there's so much fulfillment that's found in it, it's like, why not? Why not discover why God put you on this earth, you know, and make a difference in someone else's life other than yourself?
Well, that was well said. And as you were talking, I recognized, I can feel your passion in the way that you use your words. And I can definitely tell you that you're definitely a speaker, because the way words flow out of your mouth and you know, has an impact. And yeah, and that's basically when I was listening to you talk a minute ago, I realized that, yeah, you might be a writer, but you definitely are a speaker. And we met at Toastmasters. So, you know, you've honed your you know, your abilities as a speaker by training on it. So that's pretty good. Just want to circle back to what you said about unmasking your true self. So, you know, I do a lot of spiritual work, and I do a lot of meditation. And one of the buzzwords, especially, you know, I love Deepak Chopra, and that's, you know, talks about your true self. So I want to ask you, in your workshop, how are you defining the true self? Because the true self that I, you know, as Deepak puts it, is your non-physical being. It's your core self. It's your source, right? So, in your workshops, how are you unmasking the true self?
So I approach getting to your core from the perspective of, you know, we oftentimes, okay, so how the workshops start off, just to give you an idea, I have everyone answer the question. I give them paper. Well, everyone gets journals, because it's really, you have to journal in this workshop. It's an 8-week workshop. And I ask them to write down, answer the question, who am I? But answer that question from the perspective of someone asking you, you know, Myrna, who are you, right?
Great.
And then you write down how you would answer that question. And then I have everyone kind of read their answers out loud. 9 times out of 10, they write down, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, right. I'm a child of God, I'm an employee.
Yeah, they write down their roles. I know that, yes, because that's right, how they perceive themselves, right? Exactly.
Exactly. So, and then I tell them, you know, okay, so now you answer that, who are you? As, you know, the you that you want the world to see, how you want to present yourself to the world. But when it comes to discovering your purpose, you have to now answer, who am I on the inside? You know, all of those things that you don't want, you would never tell anyone in your opening intro. You know, it's only when you get down to that, you know, I'm insecure at times, you know, I'm dealing with past hurt and pain. I'm very creative, you know, the good and the bad. It's not all the negative, but also the good, because it's once you get it all out on paper, you begin to say, okay, this is what it is, you know, and you can identify those traits that are of God, you know, the fruits of the Spirit versus the things that the world put on you. You know, if you have low self-esteem, if you're dealing with past hurt and pain, which causes you to have a wall up in relationships, then that's the world. That's not God, and God can't use that for His glory. But, you know, you're creative, you're a dreamer, you know, you have, you know, certain gifts and talents, or even certain flaws. Like for me, I'm not a good speaker. You know, things that, okay, I'm not a good speaker, it really is something the world put on me, right?
Right.
Paper, because it's also in those things that you say you are not, is really, you know, hidden in there. So is where you can discover your purpose, discover what you truly are, and saying what you are not, because your purpose is always going to be beyond your ability to readily carry it out in your own might. So once I have them write it all out, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know, is like a smorgasbord. Now I need you to meditate on this. I need you to take this to God in prayer and ask Him to show you which parts of these things that the world put on you out of fear, you know, or, you know, what is this that He gave you that He wants to indeed use for His glory? That's the first part, and that usually runs about, 2 weeks of self-reflection on who you are and what makes you unique. I used to think something was so wrong with me because I don't fit in with the in crowd. What's wrong with me? I can't, I don't mingle well. Well, I'm not meant to fit in. Then you can really own your truth. You can't own your truth.
I actually heard something the other day. I actually heard it was like a bumper sticker. I think it's one of the things that came across Instagram, that you're not meant to fit in, you're meant to stand out. So good. Anyway, yes, keep going.
and we hear those things all the time, right? But for me, it was like, well, I want to fit in. I want to be a part of the in crowd. It just never worked out that way. And then even with that, I had to say, why don't I fit in? And then I really peeled it back to pinpoint, I'm not good at small talk. I can talk your ear off about my passion.
That's good.
I'm talking right now. I can talk your ear off about my passion, or if I have a connection with you, but just, in a crowd trying to have random small talk, I feel out of place.
It reminds me, well, you're in good company, because it reminds me of Michelle Obama's book. In there, she talked about the time when she was trying to set up Barack Obama with some people in the office, like how you have like a mingle on a Friday afternoon or something like that. And as soon as she put him in there, she realized that he's not a good small talker. See, you're in good company. She had to go and rescue him right away.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. Well, I can do both. I can do both. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that makes you unique. But I thought it was a flaw, But
right. Well, listen, you're beating yourself up because you're one of these people that are very reflective. I'm not sure how much, but quite a large population go around living unconsciously, and they don't reflect, and they don't go and find out what's wrong with them or why they're not doing certain things. But we are built as community people. We want to fit in. We want to be part of the clique. We want to be part of the crowd. And community is one of the things that we're hardwired to want, right? So there's nothing wrong with you wanting to fit in and wondering why you didn't fit in, right? So there's nothing wrong with that, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, but it was just what I'm saying is, as far as understanding why I'm made the way that I'm made.
Right, exactly.
That it's not a flaw.
No, right. Barack Obama doesn't small talk either. He's built to be a president.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
And I know that's why he was born. My goodness, if you talk about purpose, we all know the way his story came together, and his father and his mom and all this type of stuff, that's the purpose that he was born for. All right, awesome. So I like the way you start off on your workshop, because I have a 6-week coaching class myself. And I start off by understanding your past and understanding I don't call it your true self, but I call it, understanding who you are, understanding why you've made the choices you've made in the past and why you do what you do. And because in order to figure out what you're going to do in the future, you've got to understand your past. But understanding your true self, right, exactly. But understanding your true self and understand where you're going with that, who am I, is a very powerful question, and most of us can't answer it. But then, your true self is egoless, and your true self is your source, and your true self doesn't have all the attachments and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good. It's more a spiritual. You're getting to your spiritual being. So the point is that a workshop like that definitely helps people understand themselves, and understanding. Before you can fix anything, you got to understand it. So that's why it's very important, to start off and about, how you got to where you are today. And then when you understand how you got to where you are today, then you can plan for the future by understanding what your faults are. And maybe even if it's a fault that God can use, you still have to understand it. So I get you. I get you. So I know you have 8 steps. So give us another one that you think that this audience would benefit from. It can either be your second step, or you can pick one, and just give us another example of what you do in your workshop.
Okay. So the workshop is called How to Discover Your Purpose and Pursue It. So, the first half is, laying that foundation to discovering your purpose, clearing the clutter so, you can actually see and hear God properly. But the second half of the class, the workshop, is the process of pursuing it, right? The way you go about pursuing your purpose is just as important as the purpose itself. And all of this, that I teach, I lived and I learned. And because I do a lot of self-reflection and introspection, God gave me a lot of lessons that I learned from just living this life and being a dreamer and a go-getter and a pusher. But so as far as pursuing your purpose, I would say that the one thing I really have them hone in on is the fact that you can't just, because you discovered your purpose, you have an idea, because it always unfolds, continuously. It unfolds as you go deeper into it. But once you have an idea of what God wants you to pursue in this life, you can't do it your way. Okay, if you have to manipulate people to get it done, if you have to, lie, be dishonest, if you have to up and leave a job, and leave your family in chaos, God operates in the spirit of order and of excellence, So if you have to step out of out of being, quote unquote, a Christian-like to make that thing come to pass, then you are not pursuing it properly. And it goes back to that old familiar saying, God won't bless no mess. So you could have a good understanding of your purpose, but go about it the wrong way, and it would not come to pass, because now you don't step outside of his will just to bring, and also it shows a lack of faith, that you're not believing that God can bring this thing to pass for you, in his timing. Usually it's a lack of patience as well, in his timing. So you're going to make it happen on your own. You're going to hustle up something. You're going to, you're going to manipulate something.
Yeah, God's time is usually not your time, right? And a lot of people do that because they don't have the patience to wait. It takes a long time, right? Mm-hmm.
And I can agree to that.
Yeah, it does. You just have to remember Sarah in the Bible, yes, or even Abraham. Yeah, God's time doesn't always come immediately, or Moses, 40 years. So, all right, awesome. Got you. Yep, got you. All right.
Sarah,
right, yes.
To that point of Sarah in the Bible, you saw what happened when
she went out, and tried to circumvent it on her own. Exactly. The mess that she created. Right. Got you. Good point. Yes. All right. Well, let's take our second break, and when we come back, we are going to complete our conversation on overcoming a defeated mindset. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Hey, all you future recording artists of the world. Do you need a music video produced for your completed song, but just don't have the high price budget they charge to get it produced? Well, this is your lucky day. World Video Marketers is offering you the opportunity of a lifetime. We will produce you a high-quality music video of your song for the amazing one-time price of only $595 complete. You heard correct. Just $595, saving you thousands. All you need to do is send us your track and theme, and we will have your music video completed within 5 business days. This is a limited time offer, only good till the end of September. Let World Video Marketers make your dreams a reality. For more info on how to get started, call us at 888-633-9313. Let's get your music video ready for the world to see and the exposure you deserve. Remember, the end of September is the cutoff date. Call us now, 888-633-9313. Again, that's 888-633-9313. Let's rock.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, life coach Myrna Young, And in the guest here today is inspirational speaker and author Sabrina Johnson. And we are talking on the topic, how to overcome a defeated mindset. So we've gone through talking about mindset. We've gone through talking about purpose, understanding your true self, understanding how to pursue the purpose, understanding that God's purpose that He wants you to do is not always smooth. A lot of times you don't have the natural ability because God wants to show you that you need Him to help you to complete your purpose. Similar to the Moses story. When Sabrina was talking about how she's saying to herself that she's not a good speaker, I couldn't help but reflect on Moses on how he was telling God, send someone else because he was incapable. So as we wrap up, I want to give you my take on how to get over a defeated mindset from the perspective of a life coach. So what I tell my clients to do is first become aware of their emotions, because thoughts are the language of the brain and your emotions are the language of your body. And whatever you feel in your emotions or feel in your body becomes your current reality, right? So if you change your emotions by switching your thoughts of defeat to thinking of what you want, using Sabrina's terms, become a dreamer, right? Example, it's really funny that she talked about a defeated mindset in the space of career, and that's basically what my example is here. So I have that if you've applied for promotion twice and you keep getting passed up for the promotion, a defeated mindset would say, I'm never going to get this job. I had better get used to this. They're never going to give me a promotion because I'm black, because I'm a woman, because whatever you want to tell yourself, that's the reason you're never going to get the promotion. So you form a defeated mindset, and you're never going to try anymore. But let's switch that conversation, and instead imagine yourself in this new position. Feel in your body how it would feel to sit at that desk in the corner office with the windows and your name on the door. Because I've imagined that, so I know how to take you there. I've imagined that, so I know how to take you there. So imagine that, and now a whole different set of emotions are in your body. And the emotions that you feel in your body makes your body believe that you're living in the future right now. And that is the way to switch it. That is the way to become a dreamer. That is the way to activate the law of attraction, which is one of the things that it's my space that I teach on. So that is the way that I would recommend that you get over a defeat by changing your brain to change your life, which is a tagline, of course. Yeah, change your brain, change your thoughts, change your emotions, change your life. Because your mind is the first place that you go to when you want anything. The word dreamer is a good word because you're dreaming about what you haven't seen yet, and you're believing that it will come true. And that's the only way to get it, because if you have a defeated mindset, you are going to go in that direction. It's absolutely impossible to elevate yourself when you're thinking defeat. So that is my, I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. I heard you snicker in the background. You have anything to add to that, Sabrina? I know you liked it.
No, that was very good. And also, when it comes to defeat is a part of life, but it's, the lessons that you learn from it. We hear that all the time. I think we hear so many familiar sayings that we fail to grab hold of the truth that's in the sayings. But defeat is a natural part of life, and it's a part of growth. You can't have success without it.
Great.
If you change the way you look at it, you really would change your mindset, your life. You'll change your life.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, I have enjoyed our conversation today immensely. tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you as a speaker. I know we didn't talk about your marketing because that was not our topic, but you can also, plug your marketing here. And also, of course, you want to talk about your workshop or your webinar. So go ahead and tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, so I do have a marketing consulting agency, and that marketing on all scales, marketing consulting, small business startup consultation, digital marketing. And then also I have the workshops that I will be hosting in the fall. I did some in the spring, and I'm bringing them back in the fall, but there will be online, so a larger group of people can, attend. And you can sign up for email notifications of that, or request a consultation, or to hire me to come speak at your event on my website, and that is sjinspire.net. sjinspire.net.
All right, so sjinspire.net, they'll get the information for your webinars. They'll get the information if they want to contact you to speak. And you said something about you have an email. Do you have a newsletter or something? You said about an email.
Yes, to sign up for email notifications for the webinar and the workshops, you can go to my website and sign up to be notified when they are posted.
When the workshop is going to be, right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for that. Like I said, this was a really good topic today. And again, as my vision is to, reach someone that maybe have a defeated mindset, they've been beat down, and give them hope. So that was the intention of talking about that. And you spoke about it very passionately, and all your words came out very nicely. So it was great. So to get a transcript of my conversation with Sabrina today, just in case you missed something, head over to my blog, which is blog.myhelps.us. I want to thank you guys all for staying with us to the end. Please support the radio show and podcast by posting a review on iTunes or subscribing to the podcast. That is how we get the word out and reach more people. Please also remember to send in your questions by email if you want me to speak on any specific topic. You can send a request in to my email, which is info@myhelps.us. I also have a private Facebook group called Life Coach. Let me invite you to join that. Several life coaches actually post some great content in this group. And as well, you can also ask questions if you have a situation in your life and you want to get the group to answer it. So lots of ways to contact me and to be a part of life coaching and mental health as far as growth goes. Again, on my blog, you will also get a link to Sabrina's website, which is www.sjinspire.net. Also want to thank our sponsors today. We have a music sponsor today, so want to thank them. So any last words, Sabrina, before we say goodnight?
I just want to thank you, Myrna, for having me on the show. And this, topic is very important. And I love all of your, tidbits from a life coach standpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well, you're very welcome. It was definitely a pleasure. So to have you on the show, I love our conversation. I love your eloquence. So that was good. Yes, you definitely are on purpose. I can feel it. So that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in and until next time, namaste.